And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
If you know what I'm saying.
Well, let me ask you this. Wasn't that the booker's job to hook you up on what schedule? My question is Vince really in charge of where you guys were going every day, or was it...
Was Vince in charge of everything, basically, like overseeing the booking back in the day, or no?
Vince was in charge of everything.
Okay.
So, yes, it's a good question. And I know what you're saying, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of you make sense. But Vince McMahon was... I called him last time on a shoot interview, Adolf Hitler. And I meant what I said, because I call him Vincent Kennedy or Vincent Killer McMahon, because so many guys died under that power struggle that was going on then. What it was mean to say, well, you're wrestling injured. Okay, so I got injured in, I was wrestling Harley Race, and it's on TV. I think it was a Boston Garden. And I went out and hit the back of the, my back hit the stairs that were coming up. Harley came out very professionally, and he said, "You okay?" You know, he worked the referee and gave me all the time in the world. So I started taking painkillers, and if I missed a day, I was making between $8,000 and $14,000 a week. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of scratch, yeah.
Sure. A lot of scratch with no union now. We're talking no union, no backing. So, you know, Vince, I'm going to take tomorrow off. Well, you are. Well, go fuck yourself. You know, you don't got a job then. There's guys in the line to take your spot anytime. So you'll wrestle injured. Here's what I can do for you, though. We got doctors whoring over here, and there's 4 or 5 other doctors without a prescription now, mind you. You can take Vicodin, you can take Percocet, you can shoot yourself full of morphine like Davey Boy Smith did. You can get hooked on any fucking drug you wanted to, and he didn't give a shit. That's the problem.
Your problem is that Vince didn't care, right? It's Vince's company. Vince treated everybody just like cattle. And you know what? If you can't perform in the circus, get out, go somewhere else. I'm just going to replace you. That type of thing.
That was the attitude, basically, coming from McMahon.
Okay. I totally understand.
I look at myself like I'm a piece of shit, to be honest with you.
Really?
I lit up so many guys and got them so hooked on coke, and when Henning died, it about killed me because I love that guy so much. And when I know he died of cocaine, and
so you know how bad these guys are getting. Like, you know, they're just hooked. And
Playboy Buddy Rose. I mean, you can go on.
Playboy
and on
Buddy
with
Rose.
guys.
That surprised
big
me.
fans of Playboy Buddy Rose.
We were big fans of Playboy Buddy Rose.
Yeah. So,
Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Well, you know, there you can go on and on with guys. I think it's common sense. No, you know, you go into it, you know who did, who didn't do it. The whole point is that I'm the one to help light them up, and when you do that, you have a certain amount of guilt that you take with it. And me, so I got on painkillers, so I was doing 30, 40 Vicodin a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of Vicodin.
That's bad, man. That's no good.
That is
painkillers, and
that's a nasty drug.
Yeah, it killed the pain, but you know, the next day you go, I got to find more, because
you're either sleeping or when you're awake, you're cranky and you don't even realize it because you're flying off the handle.
You realize how much of a piece of shit you are. That's why I took it.
Rough,
it made
man.
me feel more comfortable with myself.
But are you clean now? Are you off everything now? Or?
I was up until I broke my ankle, fractured my ankle 3 months ago. I've been clean for 3 months, so if you want to call that clean.
Okay. Cleaner.
I'll always be an addict. You know, addicts will tell you that heroin or whatever you take, cocaine, you're always going to be an addict. And it just takes one time to get lit up. There, you go back to your drug of choice. But the cocaine has killed a lot of people. Vince did cocaine. I'll tell you what, Vince did cocaine in WrestleMania 3. You know, there's no question about it. A lot of guys were doing lines of cocaine. I was doing painkillers. I said before, the whole show would have been shut down if it had been the Kentucky Derby. Every wrestler would have been scratched because they were so doped up.
APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence. Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. Elm Logistics, for all your logistic needs. Call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships. The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops? Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
Hey everybody, welcome to Wrestling Remembered. I'm your host and moderator, Joe What a Day Lowry, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the good old days of professional wrestling and the evolution of the infamous cage matches. And of course, we have our weekly panels of guests. Where did he go? Is he here? Added the stage. There he is. Oh, you disappeared on me there for a second. No, my panel of experts. First up, my brother from another mother, as he likes to call me. He is the player, Benny Scala. Welcome, Benny.
Straight out of player, though.
There you go, baby. And, of course, we have the president of Thursday nights, the incomparable Mr. Phil DeCesare.
The raging yin to your soothing yang. Welcome, everybody.
All right, of course, we have the host and moderator of wrestling's newest and hottest online game show, The 30. You can see that exclusively right here on Monty and the Pharaoh's YouTube channel on Thursday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Let's give it up for ESO Bruce. What's happening, Bruce?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? So I guess Benny's tricks backfired last night because I think he was trying to go after yours or Dan's microphone, but he somehow got mine. I don't know what was up with that. Yeah, he failed miserably.
Unbelievable. One to the well, one too many times, I guess,
did.
right? That's what they
Turning
say.
into an enhancement talent.
So Mike Monty was going to join us, but he actually got called aside for something. But we're going to cover real briefly before we get into our steel cage segment. As you all know, it started to make the rounds late this morning, which is shocking because it actually happened yesterday. But Billy Jack Haynes, a former wrestler, WWE superstar as well, Portland, Oregon native, and of course, NWA, Florida wrestling, all that stuff. Well, reports are coming out. We're going to try and give you the latest as to what's going on. Obviously, a tragedy took place. This is what we do know right now. A former pro wrestler, Billy Jack Haynes, he still has not been named as a suspect or anything. As a matter of fact, the person that was found on the scene, which is supposedly his wife, was found deceased. She still has not been named. But these are really the only basic information we have right now, the latest. A shelter in order was in place yesterday morning in this Portland neighborhood. A tactical team responded. They had a 2-hour standoff. And what happened was I don't know if there was a confrontation. Reports are varying with the news media outlets in Portland. And what happened was they actually ended up taking him into custody, the suspect. And we're still at this hour awaiting further information from the authorities as to what took place. Now, I do know that some people are confirming that it is Billy Jack Haynes that ended his wife's life via a gunshot wound. We're still not getting the official word from police or investigators that are handling the story. We've been scouring. I actually made a call to the Portland Police Department earlier today. They still have nothing to comment on it. Not even a presser was available at this time. Portland, I do believe, is from the East Coast 3 hours behind, of course, 2 from where I am in Iowa. So who knows? There could be something between now and the end of the night. But guys, here we are again, another Friday. I'll call it a news dump. It happened yesterday. We're finally getting it now. Let's go around the horn. What are your thoughts, Benny? What do you think?
I mean, what do you say? You got somebody dead and somebody in jail. And like you said, the thing that really perplexes me is the veil of secrecy, because I watched the Portland news before I got on the show, and they do not mention his name. They just say that somebody mentioned that a wrestler lived in the house. So why all the secrecy? I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Phil, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I got a text this morning at the gym from an old colleague of mine from Boston Wrestling, Charlie Wilson, sent that. And at first I thought, it might have been a joke because I was, well, maybe not a joke, but something erroneous. And I started looking around and could find very little. And I texted Monty and Jimmy, and they came back and confirmed that was the case. And from there, other things came out. I know Hannibal had something too. And Hannibal has been really a close friend of his. So he seems like one of the more credible sources right now when it comes to this. Billy Jack is certainly, we could characterize him as beleaguered over the years. Certainly he's had his brushes with the law. The whole kids on the track controversy from years ago certainly might have a little more merit now. So, and I think he self-admitted that he was once involved in some drug trading and that sort of thing too. So a very complex man. And, and of course, we don't want to broach the intimate aspects of the situation. His wife was a little bit older than he was and in poor health, basically. And one has to wonder if that didn't factor into things too. You hear terms like mercy killing and that sort of thing, but I know it's too early to tell. We did see a picture on one of the websites, and I don't know if it's in this day and age, I don't know if this is an accurate picture, but a man who certainly looked like Billy Jack looked like he was apprehended by some officers,
But we still have no confirmation. So it's kind of, I've always, my journalistic integrity, always go to the source. And if I can't get that source right now, it's just hearsay. But with interviews taking place between the neighbors and so forth. I mean, and obviously his address, his home is his home and so forth. Bruce, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
It's just a sad story as it's developing. And Joe, you're the one who broke it to me this morning when I got up. And then again, I right away, like everybody else, went and tried to find some information on it, and there really wasn't much. I think I had found 1 or 2 articles just mentioning it, and it was everything was very, very vague. Right now I'm going to respect their privacy, but as we know, we know his wife was very ill. We know he was having some other issues. So, a sad situation, and I'm going to wait to hear what else comes out in the news over the next couple of days. I am a little surprised how quiet it is, though.
Yeah, it's strange to me too when they're calling it a murder and so forth, and there's not even a press conference set up yet. Like that could change at any moment, but as of now, this just real quickly, shout out to the chat. Thank you everybody for joining us live, and if you're watching on the replay as well, the chat is lighting up. A couple of things here now. Some people are asking, when did this take place? I do believe it happened at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, Portland time, because it did make the afternoon news out there and so forth. There was a 2-hour standoff. I'm not sure. The details are very sketchy on it, whether or not police confronted him at the home. They do know a tactical team was called in. You don't do that for just anybody. So there was some type of confrontation, and he was taken into custody. Who we think is Billy Jack Haynes, the former pro wrestler, was taken into custody.
Did you guys also notice that none of the other dirt sheets really picked up on it? It was so
Yeah.
it's really that's why I was a little thrown, because some of the major wrestling news sites that I would expect to have at least a blurb about it haven't even acknowledged it yet.
Very hush hush.
Well, and that's another thing. We got the Friday night news dump, and the problem with that is yesterday was a huge wrestling news. Well, I should say last night was a very, very big night for the WWE with that insane presser where The Rock is now aligned with Roman Reigns, and Cody got to choose Roman Reigns, and that's a whole different story in itself. That pretty much blew the internet up last night. So anything to do outside of that really didn't make headlines or anything. So I was shocked too, because I did get the text message from Mike telling me what happened. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't see anything on that. And I actually had to go to the Portland news websites just to get some type of information on this. And the one thing that I kept experiencing over and over was they are not mentioning who the deceased is and who they took into custody, just that somebody was taken into custody. Portland police does have a Facebook page as well as their own little web thing where they give you up-to-the-date hours. That has not been updated since about, I think, 8 o'clock Portland time last night, where the suspect was detained. They're not calling it an arrest per se, but detained. But we all know that usually means that the suspect was arrested. But Monty and the Pharaoh, obviously Billy Jack was a guest on their show sometimes back. There's a lot of speculation on his mental health, whether it's years of abuse, whether it's the demons inside, or steroids, or wrestling and all that stuff. Real quickly. Is this behavior starting to just make it more acceptable now with the mental health status? I mean, how do we approach this now? Because the headline reads former pro wrestler kills wife. Okay, automatically our minds go to what? Chris Benoit, right? This is a totally different situation. Phil, you had touched upon it. Unofficially, we can say that there was dementia involved, whether a mercy killing, as you did say, you commented on, and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, is this a little more acceptable as opposed to 20 years ago with the Benoit situation? Or, I mean, how do we feel about this now?
Well, I think we have really just an overwhelming number of people now who are suffering from this, and not only in their elder years, but even earlier now. And I know more states have been warming to this idea, and I know Canada has actually pretty much embraced this idea of euthanasia, people approaching end of life and making that choice themselves, or empowering someone else in their family to do so. So we don't know yet in terms of, if there were any contracts or agreements or that sort of thing anyway in place. We don't know the degree of illness, particularly with his wife. And it really is believed to be his wife who was the victim here. So again, this could be almost like a precedent setting case potentially, if, granted the means by which the death occurred, through gunshot is viewed as a violent sort of means, not one we would think of in terms of a mercy killing sort of thing. But, I really just can't see right now that he gets charged with anything substantial. But, again, based upon the little I know right now.
Right. Now, Benny, real quick, do you think mental health. The situation in Portland is different than throughout the U.S. I know Portland's been on the map ever since the riots, COVID, and all that stuff. They've been on the news, not for very good things. I hate to say that, but
Yeah.
drugs are very, very. I think it's almost like a drug-free city now, or something crazy like that. I mean, Benny, you think a lot of these factor into this?
Well, you got to go back too. Wasn't Portland the home of Jack Kevorkian?
You know, it might have been.
I believe it was. So I mean, that kind of.
I
mean,
feel like
all of
Detroit
those
was where
nursing
he practiced
homes
out of.
were coming from the Pacific Northwest. You have a 70, I think he's 70-year-old wrestler who obviously took a lot of bumps, and he's not quite right mentally. And you have, his wife was at least. I'm not even sure if it was his wife or not, but I mean, definitely, live-in companion who was at least 10 years older than him, who had dementia.
Yep.
So you have a woman with dementia. You have, which by all accounts, she was a bit difficult, and you have him who, I mean, honestly, I don't think the guy was all there, and mainly because of probably all the bumps he took. Just a recipe for disaster.
Right. Bruce, what do you think? What do you mental health status? Is this more acceptable now? Are we going to see more of this down the line with former pro wrestlers who are apparently suffering from CTE, which in turn can lead to dementia type situations? Or what do you think about this?
Well, I hope not, because mental health issues are unfortunately nowadays, all mental health issues seem to be a pill away from being cured, and I'm always a little worried and skeptical about things. So, mental health is a very, very touchy subject nowadays in this country. So, I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, Jack Kevorkian, that was his time where he kept getting arrested with those the assisted suicides. I remember that, and let's. If that's the case, if he and his wife had an agreement or something along those lines, he may have honored her in his own way. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is
a very good
just
point,
weird.
Bruce. They might have had some kind of an agreement. Like, if I get this far, I don't want to live anymore. You never know.
Yeah.
My only hesitation with all this is that was there possibly some type of legal document on the premises that this could be carried out? I mean, it's hypothetical at this point, but I'm still trying to wrap my hands around that. This murder is well over 24 hours old, and there has not been nobody named yet. And they're not even saying it along the lines where we can't release the names until next of kin has been notified. They're not even saying that, which is usually the normal recourse in a murder homicide type investigation.
Yeah.
Once the next of kin is notified, then I think the legalities of it all, you can say the person's name, affiliation to the deceased or the suspect, and vice versa. Right now, we don't know, hands down by the police, by the investigation team, if this is indeed Billy Jack Haynes. All points are leading to that. It's his home. It's his address. Neighbors have confirmed it. But again, when you look at the legal standpoint of this, it's very tricky when you have to report something like this. But nonetheless, in case everybody's just joining us, I know we have a big audience tonight. This is the latest from Portland. It's a developing story. It's no longer breaking news since it's over 24 hours old. Former pro wrestler, I'll say Billy Jack Haynes. That's the picture that's there. That is what everybody is saying it is. It's not been confirmed. There was a situation in his home yesterday morning. A shelter in order was in place. A tactical team did respond. After a 2-hour standoff, they were able to reach the location inside the house. They did find one person deceased, and they did take the suspect into custody. And we are still awaiting further information from the authorities. So that's really the latest as to what's going on with this. I do have a website up from Portland PD waiting for any updates. If they happen now, great. But nonetheless, I don't want to hijack the entire show. This is Wrestling Remembered, and unfortunately, we had to go with breaking news to kick off the show. But all right, what do you guys want to talk steel cage matches or what?
Yeah, sure.
I want to say one quick thing before we start.
Benny, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
roofie. So other words, roofie.
It's called
roofie.
Yep. It happened to me. I told you last time it happened to me in the WWF, and I can't swear in a stack of Bibles what happened to me, except that I had, I think I got circle jerked. You know.
Oh my God!
What was Pat Patterson by us?
Would you please?
Pat Patterson, Lord Alfred Hayes, Mel Phillips,
Lord Alfred Hayes?
Garvin. You want me to continue?
Go ahead.
I mean, my goodness. Oh my
Lord
God.
Alfred Hayes? I'm not going to sleep for a week now. Thanks. Oh my God!
And the sad thing is, most of these guys have passed away, but Pat hasn't. And anybody that doesn't know that Pat's, gay or likes young kids or whatever,
Hello?
is in a different world.
What's the possibilities that Pat has your semen on a couple of jars on top of his cabinet? Mark Billy Jack.
Would you stop it? Oh my God!
I don't know, but his ex-boyfriend Terry Garvin liked my butt.
No, did he?
Because he stuck his finger, I told you, in my butt in the
Wrecked
shower.
him? Damn near killed him.
I told him, I said I would kill him if he ever done it again.
Was he like, just kidding? We're just kidding.
Well,
just boys being boys.
I guess he would give me the stinky finger test.
Billy Jack Payne.